Student question time. Hey AJ, loved your power chord video on Sirius and Eye in the Sky. Got another one that's faster and I can learn quickly?
Oh, you wouldn't be interested in that.
Welcome back everyone, this is AJ Hansen from Level Up Your Guitar, and today's power chord song is none other than Paranoid by Black Sabbath. This one's great, and you can download the sheet music free in the description below, and if you're looking for private guitar lessons, I'm your guy. Alright, let's jump into this one. The reason I love teaching Paranoid so much to students, I usually use it as maybe first or second song depending on what their tastes are, but it has a very simple rhythm with basically just one chord shape the entire time. And the rhythm is just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and straight eighth notes, and there's a whole note and a couple half notes mixed in as well. On top of that, you'll also do some palm muting. Instead of just letting the note ring out like this, you'll palm mute it just a little bit. In this video, I'm gonna go a little out of order. Instead of starting at the intro, we're gonna start at the verse. And we're even going to do the verse a little out of order. There's a little trick that I like to do. And we'll save the intro for last because it tends to be one of the harder parts, but once you're playing the song all the way through, you're always going to start from the beginning anyway. So let's dive into this and check it out. What I like to do with this song is you can see in the sheet music, if you're following along, again, link in the description for that, we've got two measures of this E5 power chord and then a measure of a D5, but in the fourth measure, it's going through a G5, D5, E5, and then an E minor 7 power chord. That tends to be the hardest part of the song outside of the intro, and this is the part of the song that goes. So start there. We're going to start out of order, because what's going to happen when you start at the end of this phrase and you go back and learn the beginning part, this way as you learn it, measures 1 through 3 and then get to 4, you're going to be playing towards something you know better. So we'll start at this G5, so index finger on the A string 10th fret, ring finger on the D string 12th fret, and pinky underneath that on the G string 12th fret. Then we go straight into the D5 chord. This is a very simple move to visualize because you just move everything up one string. So now you're on the E, A, and D strings, 10, 12, and 12. So you've got G5 to D5. And that's a great place to start, just getting used to that quick switch there. That's about how fast it goes on the record. After that, we move up 2 frets to the E string 12th fret, ring finger on the A string 14, and pinky on 14 of the D string. So now we can start from the beginning of that fourth measure. And then followed up with this E minor 7, and all you're going to do is bar the D, G, and B strings with your index finger. So in context, we've got I would recommend looping that for a few minutes if this is your first time playing this song. Again, we want to set you up for success by giving you confidence when we start it with the easy stuff in the beginning to play towards something that you know better. So just keep looping that as many times as you can. All right, now we can jump back to the first measure of the verse. So we've got this E5 power chord, again, starting from the E string 12th fret, ring finger and pinky both on the A and the D strings 14th fret. And here is where we can introduce the palm muting. So if you haven't done palm muting, what you're gonna do is just put part of your hand right here, right past your bridge. So you just need to cover a little bit. So here's what it would sound like not palm muted. I bring my hand a little bit forward, And you can hear, I think I started a little too palm muted. That's too much. You want a little bit of ringing. So you can also test this by bringing your hand way too far up. You get nothing, and just pull it back until you can hear the note start to kind of bloom out. Now the rhythm here is straight eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and all down picking. Then once you finish that first measure, you repeat it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the first two measures are very simple. You can just string those together. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Once you feel comfortable with the first two measures, then you just take this shape, move it down 2 frets to the 10th, 12th, and 12th frets. For D5, and same palm muting technique. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now I'll loop the first three measures with all the palm muting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One more time. Alright, now that we've got the first three measures, and we started at the fourth measure, and we're used to that part that's a little bit trickier with all that movement going on, we'll add it all together. One more time, a little slower. And you'll repeat that 2 times to complete an entire verse. I'll demonstrate that. And that's the verse, and actually the solo section as well. We're not going to cover the solo in this video. If you're really craving it, maybe I can do it later, but we're just going to cover this as a rhythm song so you can focus on your power chords. So do that twice and you've completed the verse. So now we can move into the chorus, where we've got our E5 power chord again at the 12th fret. Now here's our first whole note. Pretty simple. However, one thing beginners make mistakes on, where these first two measures we've got a whole note and we've got 2 half notes, we get impatient and we just blast through it. So we go. But keep in mind, like, this song is very heavy. There's a lot of power behind it. And I always kind of think of the imagery of like Darth Vader, the ultimate bad guy from movies. And he doesn't move very fast. And that's kind of what gives him that menacing, like, dark, powerful feeling. So just imagine Darth Vader moving through these first 2 chords. He's taking his time because he knows he's going to shove a lightsaber through you. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got the C5 and the D5 after that. So the C5 is on the 8th fret of the E string, 10th fret, and 10th fret with the ring and pinky. So there's C5, and then move back up 2 frets to D5 on the 10th fret of the E string. So putting those first 2 measures of the, what I call the chorus, in context, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're gonna go straight back into the 8th notes with the E5 and the palm muting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that should be pretty simple already. So putting the chorus all together, we got E5, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then you go back into the verse. So there's the chorus section, pretty simple, but again, watch out for the whole note and the 2 half notes because, again, I've seen plenty of times where students just want to blitz right through it, but again, all that power from that first chord hits really hard, and then you can contrast it with the 8th notes. So take your time with those. Let the speed happen during the 8th notes. All right, the next section would be the bridge. This is the most open section, or the smallest amount of playing. So we've got a lot of whole notes that are tied to more whole notes. So if you're looking at the sheet music, you can see up in the standard notation, you've got that empty circle, which is your whole note. So that's 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you've got a curved line that ties to notes of the same whole notes of the same pitch. So that takes your 4 note count to 8. So the trick for this, when you're counting 2 whole notes back to back, yes, it's 8 beats, but you don't want to count over the number 4 typically. So just leave it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll help you keep track a lot easier. All right, let's jump into the bridge now. So again, we're starting from E5 at the 12th fret of the E string, and this is a whole note tied to a dotted half note. So that's going to be 4 plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's the first note that is tied in there, and then you can see in the second measure on beat 4, you'll play a staccato. There's a little staccato marking, so when you again look at the standard notation, there's a little dot underneath. That means to play something short and stabby, not long like that. So we'll have a 7 count plus a 1 equaling the 8. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, ba. And then we'll move into D5 in the 10th fret. And again, these are tied whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Move back to E5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then move again back to D5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let this breathe. These are all whole notes. They're super powerful. Think Darth Vader. You don't need, you've got the power. Take your time with it. And once you're done with the bridge, that's going to go into the verse riff again. All right, and now we can jump into the outro, which is almost exactly the same as the verse. We'll start at the beginning this time. We've got E5 again, straight 8th notes with slight palm muting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now instead of doing this little that we did in the beginning, we're going to end the song with this. So it's the same idea, an octave lower. And when you come out of that D5, your index finger will play the A string 2nd fret. Middle finger will grab the 3rd fret of the E string. And if you can give it a little bend, it's a little quarter step bend. So you don't need to yank it really hard. And you come out of that bend and hit the E string open and you cut it off. Another addition onto that bent note, it's not like a laser beam where you just go straight to the note. You gotta scoop into it, kind of like a blues singer would. You can hear that bottom. So it's almost like it takes a while and then it speeds up into the bend. So let me demonstrate the outro. more time. Alright, so that is the entire song except for the intro. So now we have to go back in time like a Tarantino movie and talk about that. So there are some very cool things that happen in this intro that are not just worth learning, but memorizing and internalizing. So looking at the sheet music, you can see there's 2 notes being played along with a hammer-on in the first measure, and you do that 3 times, and then you've got a bunch of hammer-ons in the second measure. So what the most important thing is here is noticing the rhythm changes more than the notes. So the first measure has what's called a Tresillo beat. I mentioned that in my Like a Stone video during the guitar solo of that. But this is the Tresillo beat where it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So demonstrating along with the riff. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So a Tresillo beat is just taking your standard 8th note run, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's the same amount of time, but the notes are grouped together in patterns of 3, 3, and then 2. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So you're still getting your 8 eighth notes, but now the accents are in different spots. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then the second measure would be straight 8th notes. So hearing that back to back, let me play that. So there you can hear that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... That's a great rhythm to not just memorize, but internalize, where anytime you hear a Tresillo beat, it's like, ah, there it is. So that's how comfortable you want to get with that rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... You can just practice saying the Tresillo beat by itself, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Do that a bunch of times, but this is a good step up from that by going Tresillo and then straight 8ths and up and back. That's super important, especially in hard rock and metal, and really pretty much any form of music has that Tresillo beat. So make sure you study that. I know I'm using the dirty study word, but you should study it. It's great. So now let me actually walk you through the intro here. So the other super important thing about this song is the type of hammer-on they're doing. This is called a grace note hammer-on, and you can always tell a grace note looking at the sheet music. It has at the tablature, it has a small 12 going into a big 14. Or if you're looking at the standard notation, there's a small note with a little slash through it going into a big note. So the grace note is like an instantaneous movement. So drummers call it a flam, where if you have drumsticks, you can hit a unison where it's together, but a flam or a grace note is a little bit offset. It's da-da, da-da, da-da. It's that quick. So even though it's written in the music, in time, it really doesn't exist. That's the way I like to think about it. It just happens so quickly. It is different from doing 16th notes, and the more you see that, the more you'll understand that. That has a different feel to it. But definitely understand how the grace note looks on paper, small number to big number, or small note, typically with a slash in it, into a big note. So we're going to do a little mini bar with the index finger on the 12th fret on the E and A strings. And then you're going to quickly hammer on your ring finger to the A string 14th fret. Once you get comfortable with that movement, holding a bar here and then moving the ring finger, a little tricky in the beginning. Take your time with it, and once you at least get a clean hammer on, then you can add that Tresillo beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, And that's all there is to the first measure of the intro. Now we can go into measure 2, where we're going to do a bunch of hammer-ons on the A and the D string. So starting with the index finger on the A string 12th fret, we're going to hammer on with the ring finger, same string 14th fret. So we've got, so one pick, 2 notes. Then move to the D string, do the same thing. So just looking at those first 2 beats. Then on beat 3, we go back to the A string. Then on beat 4, we'll play the D string 12th fret and then go back to the A string 14th fret. That's where he breaks the pattern there. So beats 3 and 4 go. So the entire second measure altogether. Now, another tip for the second measure is make sure you take your time with those hammer-ons in the second measure. Take your time with those because now you've been prepped with the grace notes where they happen fast, but now you need to keep these even. The way I like to describe hammering on eighth notes is almost think of it like a siren. Dee-doo, dee-doo, dee-doo. They're very consistent. You know, it doesn't go... Now, once you start playing this at full speed, it will seem faster, but it's still very even, kind of like a police siren or an ambulance. And then putting both measures of the intro back together. And then you go straight into the verse, which we've already done. So keep in mind that intro, practice the Tresillo rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4 end. So up and back between Tresillo and straight eighths, and keep an ear out for the difference in the hammer-ons. Between the grace note hammer-on, which happens instantly, and then the more evenly spaced out eighth notes. And that will get you through the entire rhythm section of Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Basically all with power chords with a few very small exceptions. If you like this power chord song, check out the playlist for other ones. And when you want to get better, faster at guitar, you can take lessons from me. My website is linked in the description below. Catch you in the next video.